One of the interesting things about what I do for a living is you get to speak to hundreds of iPhone owners, and because of that, you get a kind of unique perspective into the way that people use their phones. And honestly, while there is no wrong way to use your iPhone, there are certain things that I see people doing that I really think they should stop. That's what we're going to talk about in this video, 10 things that I think iPhone owners should stop doing. Okay, let's get into it. Stop replying to or forwarding entire emails. How often do you receive a really long email from somebody and you want to either reply to that email or forward it on to somebody else, but you only really need to draw their attention to one specific passage of text within the email? Instead of messing about trying to highlight the text or explain the bit that you're referring to, you can reply to or forward just the passage of text that you care about. Let me show you how you'd do it. You'd start by long pressing in the body of the email to bring up the text selection tools, and then use your fingers to select just the passage of text that you want. Ignore the little contextual menu that appears. We instead want to press the reply button down at the bottom of the email. It doesn't matter if you're forwarding this email, you would still press the reply button to begin with. In the menu that appears, choose either reply or forward. For this example, I'm going to choose forward, and you can see that a new email is created. If I scroll down, you can see just the passage of text that we selected, making it much easier for me to bring people's attention to the content that really matters in my email. Stop going into settings to deal with notifications. How often do you see a notification pop up on your iPhone screen and think to yourself, I really should disable notifications for this particular app, but you never get around to it because you never think to go into settings, then notifications, and actually disable them? The good news is that if you know what you're doing, you don't have to go into settings. You can do it straight from Notification Center, and it literally takes a couple of seconds. So here in this example, I've received a couple of notifications and I'm viewing them in Notification Center. What I can do is swipe from right to left on one of the notifications until I see the options button. Tap this and you can see that I've got a few different options available to me. I can mute the notifications for an hour, or I can mute them for the rest of today. If they're generally not a nuisance, but causing me a bit of frustration today, this might be a suitable option. Also, if you use notification summaries, you can add the notifications to your summary instead. If you want a bit more granular control over the notifications than you've got available here, you can press View Settings, and this will take you straight into the relevant page in Settings, saving you multiple steps. And of course, if you've decided that you just don't want to receive notifications from this app at all moving forward, you can just tap where it says Turn Off instead. By the way, if you enjoy iPhone tips videos like this, but really wish there was a structured place with hundreds of tips that you could access anytime, you should definitely check out iPhone Essentials Plus. It's my training tool for the iPhone, where you can currently access more than 250 iPhone lessons, with more content being added all the time. Every lesson comes with a short video, a step-by-step guide with screenshots, and a downloadable PDF. So no matter how you like to learn, you're covered. You can work through modules in order, or you can use the search tool to find exactly what you're looking for. Everything's available for a one-time purchase price. There's no ongoing subscription or payments, and all future updates are included. I recently added some exciting new content, like an entire iPhone battery course, as well as a growing library of ad and sponsor-free versions of my YouTube videos. And if you're a Mac owner, there's a Mac version as well, which you can pick up by itself or bundle together for the best price possible. If you're interested, scan the QR code you can see on screen or click the link in the description to learn more. Stop auto-renewing subscriptions by accident. Let's be honest, there are few feelings in life worse than an unexpected payment coming out of your bank account, and that can happen if you aren't keeping on top of your app subscriptions. I'm sure we've all signed up for an app for a year, forgotten all about it, and only been reminded when we get the notification telling us about the charge. Luckily, there's a really easy way of seeing all the active app subscriptions that you currently have, allowing you to take action where you need to. Go into Settings and tap on your name at the top. This takes you through to your Apple account. Then tap where it says Subscriptions. This page is broken down into two sections, active and inactive. Your active subscriptions sit at the top, but we'll talk about them in more detail in just a second. Inactive subscriptions are down at the bottom, and they aren't anything for you to worry about because they're exactly what they sound like, inactive subscriptions. Up in the active section, if you see a subscription that says expires on, that's letting you know that you've already cancelled this subscription and you're essentially using the remaining time that you have before it expires. That's the nice thing about apps in the App Store. Even if you cancel early, you still get full access until the date that your subscription expires. This one, for example, won't auto-renew. Any subscription that says renews followed by a date is going to automatically renew for the price that you can see here. These are the ones that we want to take a closer look at. If you want to find out more about any of these subscriptions, tap into one of them and either cancel the subscription by pressing the cancel subscription button or tap where it says see all plans. This is exactly what it sounds like. It will show you all of the available payment plans for this particular app, so you can see if there's anything that you can switch to that might save you some money. Stop manually switching on reader mode. Let's be honest, reading articles online these days is almost always a pretty awful experience. Articles are never presented like normal articles. They're blocks of text with images broken up by auto-playing video ads or pop-ups that completely pull you out of what it is that you're trying to find out about. I'm sure you already know about reader mode. That's where, on an article page, you can long press on the website options button just to the left of the address bar in Safari, and your phone will automatically clean up the article for you, giving you a really neat and tidy way of reading it. This by itself is a really useful tip, but you can take this a step further by setting any website where you often use this feature to automatically enable reader mode, meaning that you don't have to press the button anymore. To do that, press the reader mode button again while here in reader mode to bring up the reader mode options. Tap the little ellipsis in the bottom right corner and then scroll down until you reach the section that says website settings for, followed by the domain that you're currently viewing. That's important to know. You can't set this to happen for every website that you ever visit. You do this on a per domain basis. Toggle on use reader automatically, and from now on, every time that you visit this website, your iPhone will automatically open any articles in reader mode for you. By the way, if you find iPhone tutorials like this useful but wonder how you're ever going to remember all of these tips, you should definitely check out the Daily Swipe. It's a completely free email that I send out every day, featuring one simple iPhone tip. It takes less than a minute to read and even less time to try out. If you'd like to sign up, just scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the video description. Stop accepting the tab bar in Safari if you hate it. If you don't like the way that the tab bar appears in Safari, you don't have to stick with it. There are a number of options that you can choose from, but I find that most people I talk to don't realize that you can change it. The tab bar, in case you don't know what I mean, is the little bar that appears at the bottom of the screen containing your web address. Apple redesigned it as part of iOS 26 to make it more compact. I actually quite like it, but I also understand why a lot of people really don't. Let me show you how to change it. Head into Settings, scroll all the way down to the bottom and choose Apps. Scroll down again and tap into Safari. Then scroll down to the tab section and you can see that there are 3 options for you to choose from. Compact, which is the default, bottom and top. I'll choose bottom and then go back into Safari to show you the difference. You can see that the tab bar still appears down at the bottom of the screen, but it's twice the size that it was before. That's because it gives you forward and backward navigation buttons, a share button, a bookmarks button, and an all tabs button that are always visible. I'll jump back into settings and this time I'll choose top, then go back into Safari to show you the difference. With this selected, you can see that we still have all of our buttons down at the bottom, but this time the address bar is sitting by itself up at the top. This is the more traditional Safari view, and it tends to be the one that I find most people prefer to switch to. You can, of course, choose whichever one you like best. Stop sharing your location details in your photos. Here, I've got a photo in my photo library, and if I tap the I or information button down at the bottom, we've got what's known as EXIF data. In amongst this is the exact location where this photo was taken visible on a map. This information is really useful to me as the person who captured the photo, but it's also quite sensitive privacy information that I probably wouldn't want to share with somebody else. However, if I press the share button down in the bottom corner, you can see up at the top of the screen, it says location included. That's because by default, when you share a photo on your iPhone, location data is included with the image. Most people I speak to have no idea how to turn this off, so let me show you. Before hitting send, tap the options button and you'll see a toggle at the top of the screen for location. Toggle this off. You can now press the blue tick in the upper right corner and continue to send your image as normal, but it will do so without the location metadata being included. The location data is still available on your photo for you to access as and when you need it. Stop scrolling through screenshots in photos. If you're someone that takes a lot of screenshots on your iPhone, and I reckon that's most people these days, you'll know how quickly your photo library can get clogged up with screenshots. This makes it harder for you to scroll through and find the content that you actually care about, the photos and videos that you've taken. While you probably don't want to delete the screenshots, it does make sense to hide them so that they're only visible when you actually want to view them. Let me show you how. Start in the Photos app. Make sure that you're in the library view. Then press the filter button up in the top right corner next to where it says Select. Tap into View Options and then tap where it says Screenshots. That will remove the tick next to screenshots, essentially hiding them from your library view. They still exist, they're just not going to be visible in your library. This will immediately clean up most people's photo libraries and make them a much more enjoyable browsing experience. Of course, from time to time, you are going to need to find those screenshots. The way that you would do this is by going to the bottom of the Photos app and tapping into Collections. Then tap into Media Types, and in here you'll see an option called Screenshots. Tap into that, and it will show you every screenshot on your iPhone, making it a much quicker and much neater way of managing them. Stop deleting your audio messages. How often have you been in a message with somebody, tapped the little plus in the bottom left corner, chosen audio and started recording an audio message, only to get partway through and suddenly pause because you need a moment to think? Most people will instinctively press the red stop button and then press the little X button because they assume that by stopping the audio message, their only option is to bin the whole thing off and start again. That actually isn't the case. You'll notice this little time button next to the blue send button. If you tap this, the recording will begin again, allowing you to pick up exactly where you left off. You can do this as many times as you like, meaning that you can stop and start until you get the perfect message. When you're actually finished, press the red stop button and then press the blue button to send it. Stop searching for things in messages. How often do you go looking for something in messages? Maybe a photo that somebody shared with you or a link that somebody sent. You probably tap the little search box down at the bottom and type in your search term. And that does work pretty well when you know exactly what you're looking for, but it's not much help when you've only got a rough idea. So long as you know who sent you the photo, document, or link, there is a really easy way to find it. Go back into the main messages page, tap into the chat with the contact that you want to look at. Tap on their name at the top, and just below the phone, FaceTime, and mail buttons, you can see that you've got some options to choose from. If I tap into documents, I can view any documents that have been shared with me by this person. That's actual documents like PDF files that have been shared, but it would also include links to things like shared notes or shared reminders lists. There's also a filter button down at the bottom where you can choose whether to view collaborations only, files only, or everything. I'll then tap on links, and this is going to show me all of the links that have been shared between me and this contact. Again, there's a button that you can press in the bottom left-hand corner, but this time it allows you to switch between grid view and list view. And finally, I'll tap on photos, and this is where I can see all of the media that's been shared by this person. If you tap the filter button in the bottom left corner, you can choose to filter by screenshots only, videos only, photos only, or just leave it showing everything. It's a really quick and handy way to find something very specific, so long as you know who sent it to you. Stop storing your recovery keys in notes and emails. Increasingly, portals, websites, and online services need you to keep some kind of recovery key, a code that you would use in the event that you need to regain access but don't have any other recovery information available. These codes are obviously really important, and one of the worst things that you can do is just leave them sat in your email inbox or store them in something like Notes. Thankfully, your iPhone has a feature built in that gives you a much more secure way of storing them. Go to Spotlight Search and open the Passwords app. Then tap into All and locate the relevant login for this particular website or service. Tap into the login and then press the Edit button in the upper right corner. When you do this, you'll see that there's a Notes section down at the bottom. Tap into this And you can then type or copy and paste anything that you like in here, which makes it a great place to store things like a recovery key. Press the blue tick in the upper right corner when you're done to save your changes. So there you go. Those were 10 things I reckon you should stop doing on your iPhone. Be honest, how many are you guilty of? Anything I should have included but didn't? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.